Laurence Miall is the CEO of TVbeat. Laurence is kind of a newly minted entrepreneur in this TVbeat company. She has been in the broadcasting business for a long time, 18 years, including 10 years at the Modern Times Group, where she did a lot of good work there. And Modern Times Group, as you know, has been a very progressive and provocative, really, television company and broadcaster. She also worked at Talk, which of course is one of these more newer players that are trying to, these IP TV players that are ISPs that are trying to get into television. And of course now TVbeat is a newish company, and they're pioneering some of the things that Justin was making allusions to. So without further ado, Laurence, tell us about TVbeat.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Laurence. I'm delighted to be here today, and I would like to thank IBC and Kate in particular for handpicking us to be part of this TV audience measurement session. TVbeat is a new generation of TV analytics. I think Kate would qualify us as disruptive, but we prefer to refer to ourselves as complementary TV analytics. Shifting viewing habits call for shifting TV analytics. And in the next 10 minutes, I would like to draw the debate onto three major points. Where is the opportunity for new audience measurement coming from? Who owns the data? How can we unlock it? And what are the early learnings we believe will change this industry irreversibly? The TV household world has changed. Only 4 years ago, none of us had iPads. TV viewing is now on multi-device, and TV is just another screen. The largest one, the main one, but the one amongst the other. Thanks to the internet, the proliferation of content has increased. People now have accessible content everywhere, and that gives them a good reason to connect to the internet. And if you add to the equation the fact that connectivity in the household has increased, you get one result. TV household more and more connect their TV set and their set-top box to the internet. What does that mean? It means that every time you change a channel, you click on the remote control to a channel, next channel, to a player, back to the EPG, you create a data trail. And this big data is an amazing opportunity for a new census-based audience measurement. But the data is big. What are we talking about? On average, a household click the remote more than 100 times a day. If you think of the UK, 26 million households, per day we could be processing billion of events. This is big data. And we have to be very careful with big data. We have to unearth it in a meaningful way. This is why a company like TVbeat has an opportunity. We're a big data tech company. And we can partner with the owners of those data, the platforms, the players, to collect the data from their logs, to process and aggregate the data so it's not rubbish like the early mistakes of the internet, and present this data in a meaningful way. In fact, at TVbeat, we collect data from digital satellite, IPTV, and other OTT players in one single analytic platform. So why would platforms would share data with us? After all, Netflix prides themselves of keeping this data proprietarily. Well, we believe we can help platform not only for processing, because that big data is hard to process, but we can help them monetize. And every benefit we would like to bring can bring an impact on the bottom line. There's a few. We can help them with content assessment. We can support them in their product evaluation, VOD, packaging. We can unearth upselling opportunities. We can diagnose TV churn. And last but not least, we can monetize disaggregate data as a complementary TV audience measurement. I will give you two real examples from our creation market on how we've been able to help our platform partner into the content spec. I've concealed the name of the channels for this audience, but this is real data. Our partner wanted to know prior to a big renegotiation, how one movie channel was comparing to their competitor. On the currency and on overall, we would have been able to say, well, look, the red channel is performing much better. But drilling down the data and looking at a more extended package where both channels were available, in fact, the blue channel had a better performance. Equipped with that strong analytics, our partner went into the renegotiation with really strong tools to renegotiate. And we have to remember that any dollar saved into content is a dollar saved on the bottom line. The other example is upselling opportunity, the other flip side. How can we help platforms to get new revenues? Our platform asks us, how is the movie genre doing? We've identified that, maybe you can't read it, but 13% of the subscribers were watching movies as their #1 genres, more than anything else, more than series, more than reality show, more than news. But those movie lovers, looking further, close to 25% of them were only in a basic package. They had not bought yet a premium movie package. Knowing who these people are can really help the platform upsell with targeted marketing to an audience that really loves movies. I hope I've demonstrated there is a new audience measurement opportunity, and we can help platform get this data out. But what does it mean for the audience measurement world and the broadcaster world overall? There will be 3 takeaways. In June, we were very lucky at TVbeat to announce our first deal with Deutsche Telekom in Croatia on the night of the opening night of the World Cup. We were also very lucky that the first game was Brazil-Croatia. So we decided to sponsor this game together with Deutsche Telekom, and it was at a media event. We put the live show not only of the game, but also of the rating. It was fascinating to follow the viewer come in as the kickoff of the game was approaching. It was also fascinating to see that as the first opening goal from Croatia came, more viewers came to the channel. In fact, we reached close to 80% share that night. And it was unsurprising to see that at halftime, the studio show saw some deflection in the viewing, and furthermore, when Brazil scored second and third, people left totally. I'm only giving you this example to illustrate one thing. TV audience measurement doesn't need to be next day. It's live. We've talked about viewers changing habits, but how so? This is again real data from Croatia. The consumption on other device is growing. On average in Croatia, 12% of viewing is driven by PC, mobile and tablet. On a good day, it reaches up to 25%. The appointment to view has also changed. The other example here is on time shift. We've taken one show from one very famous documentary channel, and we looked at that one show and how this show did, how people engaged with that show when they were watching it live and when they were watching on time shift. When watching live, 17 minutes was spent for that show. When people made an appointment to view, they spent 49 minutes. Interestingly, time shift is not measured in Croatia, losing a 3 times potential viewing and advertising potential. And my last example is an experiment we did with one of our broadcasters in Croatia again. They've asked us to count the number of spots that delivered a 0 rating, which is the casualty of smaller sample, as Justin alluded to earlier. And in the currency, they counted 2,500 spots with a 0 rating over a period of 2 weeks. That's almost 100 0 rating per day. At TVbeat, the same channel, the same 2 weeks, the same spots, we counted 81 0 rating. I leave this as food for thought. As a conclusion, we believe TVbeat bridges the gap between legacy TV measurement and digital analytics. In an era where Content and distribution is once again intertwined. Think BT investing in sport, or Liberty Global buying into ITV, or Telenet buying SBS channels. There is a need of more and more granular data and new audience measurement. At TVbeat, we want live, rich, and actionable insight to bring new measurement in an era where viewers are more and more connected. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, Laurence. Thank you. Let me just ask you one question before I introduce Jane. You said, give me your data and we'll help you monetize it. So what do you do about the people that don't actually want to give you their data? In other words, you've got some broadcasters, like I'm thinking of Sky in particular in the UK. They have a very developed data collection service, Sky IQ. They do all kinds of things. I mean, this whole idea that people are going to give you their data, unless it's just for their own purposes, like your example of, you know, how do I make my movie packages better? How do I upsell people? But to get the data to come out, in other words, why were they going to give you your data? Data's like, you know, gold dust.
It's a very good question. I mean, and I think this is why big data hasn't come to TV yet. I think we are finding some ways. There are ways where we might not actually make those data public, but at least there's a sentiment that big data is big measured. There's other ways where we can partner with trusted entities, such as JICs, where together we can show that by bringing those data, we can have a trusted number. And that, I think, will facilitate the discussion with some of the broadcasters.
It's a very interesting area. I think you're going to have a lot of work ahead, but I think you're right, that there's something to be done about this. You really have to figure out how to take all these different data, put together, and analyze them differently.